to the closing ceremony of the 54th Annual General Meeting of the Caribbean Development Bank. I now call on the President, Dr. Hyginus Jane Leon, to deliver some remarks.
Sorry, do I need to start again? No, from the start. So, good morning again. Prime Minister, I would be lying if I said that this 53rd annual meeting did not hold a special place in my heart. Firstly, it takes place in the land of my birth, Hewanora, Helen of the West, St. Lucie, a place and spirit that I have taken with me from pillar to post over my entire career. Secondly, it takes place in the birthplace of Nobel laureate and first president of the Caribbean Development Bank, Sir Arthur Lewis, a luminary whose vision and legacy continues to transcend generations of intellectual endeavor in our region. Chair, yesterday you invited us to let her inspire us. I know I speak for all who journeyed here that we have truly been inspired. I want to express my gratitude to you for agreeing to host this year's meeting and warmly welcoming us to beautiful St. Lucia. I pay tribute to you and your team who worked tirelessly with grace and flexibility to make this meeting a success. This year we attempted a few innovations, which from all reports were highly successful and deepened the impact of our annual meeting. First, we launched a year of activities to create a real and meaningful agenda for our chair, while at the same time increasing staff involvement in the annual meeting process. This included the chair's engagement series, which was aimed at providing the CDB governors and other regional leaders and staff with an opportunity to interact and share insights on development issues of importance to the region and the bank's work. The engagement took the form of an in-person fireside chat on issues such as education, energy security, climate change, access to financing, private sector development, water security, and food security. In this regard, we were extremely happy to have welcomed our chair, Minister Camilo Gonzalez of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Ministers Quincy Gomes-Marie and Diane Kentish-Rogers to CDB headquarters to participate in the leadership series. Another innovation this year was that staff of CDB determined and designed the seminars that we hosted this year. These seminars were closely aligned with our current strategic thrust and provided an opportunity for the exchange of ideas as we continue the ethos of sharing to grow. You have our commitment that we will continue to employ these innovative ideas over the coming year. My own feeling, and from all reports, the Willie G. Dimas Lecture delivered this year by Executive Secretary of UNFCCC, Mr. Simon Steele, under the theme Bridges, Solutions and Paths, a Caribbean Perspective, that made a profound impact. His discourse on the importance of the Caribbean region in tackling the climate crisis and a call to action for increased financing resonates with me, since it is something that the bank has treated with high priority and has strongly advocated to our partners. Like Simon, we also agree that there needs to be collaboration, bridging the gap between nations and promoting progressive partnerships while charting a clear path forward and taking responsibility to drive change. As Simon posited, the Caribbean is the region that can make the difference now, in this time of consequence. We've done it before, and we can do it again. As our governors deliberated, we were able to place the Caribbean development agenda in sharp context, and I think we have all agreed on the urgency of now. Governors, we have heard of the need to navigate the challenging times characterized by economic impacts of the pandemic, rising energy and food prices, the increasing frequency of natural disasters due to climate change, and the need for adequate and sustainable financing. These challenges therefore require CDB and other regional partners to act now to mitigate the impact of future shocks on our region. As I reflect on how we chart the way forward, here are a few things we need to focus on. First, we need to scale up and strengthen support for tackling climate change, including increasing the volume of climate finance. Second, we must be at the forefront of helping our countries to build resilience, coupled with improving disaster risk finance and having an innovative and flexible mechanism to assist in the case of natural disasters. Third, we must unlock private capital for the region and mobilize private sector financing. But to do this, we must reimagine our relationship with the private sector. Fourth, we must champion the development of policies designed to drive fit-for-purpose investment activities and enhance implementation capacity of our borrowing member countries. And fifth, finally, we must continue through collaborative advocacy to foster a paradigm shift in the international financing system, emphasizing the need to measure better and therefore to target better, to build resilience, and to adopt better measures for sustainable development. In closing, I want to underscore that collaboration and collective action are essential for our region's success. CDB is only as strong and as effective as our members and their collective voices. Ladies and gentlemen, governors, we remain deeply grateful for the confidence reposed in the bank, as illustrated in the statements made by respective governors yesterday. I strongly urge that now is the time to make those voices louder as we advocate for a paradigm shift to advance the resilient prosperity of our region. As we close the 53rd annual meeting, I vow and commit to you to continue my engagement with our Board of Directors and our Board of Governors, recognizing that every member country of CDB brings value to this organization and is critical to the delivery of our mandate. To our outgoing chair, Prime Minister Pierre, your unbounded passion for St. Lucia and this region has made you one of our strongest advocates, and we know that we can continue to rely on your support, especially at this critical juncture in our region's development. and to our incoming chair. We eagerly look forward to working with you to craft and execute your vision for your coming tenure as chairman of the Board of Governors. Governors all, let us continue to collectively signal our commitment and resolve to build resilient prosperity through our partnerships. Supported by capable and competent staff to whom I am extremely and exceedingly grateful, know that CDB will continue to work relentlessly with you to deliver on the region's agenda. The strength of the region lies not in its individual countries, but in the unity of its people. It is through collaboration and working together that we can unlock the true potential of our region. Nobel laureate and first president of the bank, Sir Arthur Lewis, said, "Alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much." And in the words of my outgoing chair, Prime Minister Pierre, "Du vent ensemble." PM, you recognize that? Very good. That is forward together. So, in closing, to those traveling over the next few days, I wish you safe voyage to your destinations. To those who live and work and love in St. Lucia, the bank is indebted to you for your kind hospitality over those last few days. And rest assured that your son stands here proud and know that his heart is full. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. And between yesterday and today, your patois has improved. Good morning, governors. Good morning, everyone. Colleagues, as I close this annual meeting and pass the chair to the Honorable Harriet S. Sajan, the Governor from Canada, I want to express my thanks to the Board of Governors, the Board of Directors, and the President and staff of the CDB for their ensuing support during my tenure as Chairman of the Board of Governors of CDB. When I accepted the chair at the close of the 52nd annual meeting in Turks and Caicos, I did so knowingly that my one-year tenure needed to be defined by finding solutions for difficult times. If there is one lesson to be learned from what we can now safely term the poly-crisis, is that the sooner we understand and expect that difficult times may now be more than the norm than the exception, the sooner we can set about focusing on resilience to ensure that no matter the degree of difficulty, we have what it takes to chart a sustainable way forward for our people. In this vein, I used the year to promote two issues of regional importance: social and economic empowerment of youth, and access to adequate and affordable finance for development. Yesterday, in my opening remarks, I pointed to action we have taken nationally to advance these two priorities, especially the novel youth economy in St. Lucia. I'm equally appreciative of the bank's alignment with this, as it hosted the Youth for Innovation and Resilience Forum, Youth Fire, last week at our Mecca of intellectual ferment, Sir Arthur Lewis College here in St. Lucia, a college named after the first president of the CDB. The Youth Fire program forms a core part of the bank's strategy to reach our youth, support the strategic guidance and life skills training, and gather insights from young people regarding its programming and policy for youth development and broader sustainable growth and development. At the same time, in every forum, whether regional or global, I've used my voice to advocate for the dismantling of the gross national income as a determinant of access to concessional financing. I intend to continue this advocacy, but I implore my colleague governors and the incoming chair to put their shoulders on the wheel to make the adoption of the MVI a reality. I compliment the CDB on the work of the SDF and note the transparency in its operations. I urge management to continue to promote the work of the SDF, since its impact directly improves the life of people, and it's for the people that we are all here. Over the last 2 days, we've had the opportunity to reflect soberly on the development agenda of the region and the seemingly unsurmountable hurdles we face. I want to stress the urgency of now. We cannot wait till the stars are perfectly aligned. We must do what we can while we can. To Minister Sajan, I pledge my support as you now take up the mantle to navigate the bank through the next year. I stand ready to assist and to partner, and I wish you every success in the coming year. And colleagues, I want to thank you, the governors, and I want to thank the staff of the CDB for the support during the year. It was a pleasure working with you, and I look forward to continue to work with the CDB and everyone who is trying their best to progress our region, to improve the lives of the people of our country. I thank you. And I'd like to call the governor of Canada. I'd like to call him, but he isn't here today. Well, I would like to call the temporary alternative governor, Ms. Cheryl Urban, to give some introductory remarks.
Thank you very much. Thank you, President Leon. Thank you, Prime Minister. And congratulations on an excellent meeting. It is my pleasure as temporary alternate governor to introduce our Canada's Minister for International Assistance, Minister Harjit Sajjan. He is a passionate advocate for a feminist international assistance policy, and he's always looking for ways to effectively advance development outcomes. The Caribbean Development Bank is a critical partner for Canada in achieving these development outcomes in the Caribbean. And moreover, there are long-standing connections between Canada and the Caribbean. This includes people-to-people ties, our mutually beneficial trading relationships, and our shared values. As we are taking on this role of chair, it is a reflection of our commitment to the Caribbean Development Bank and to the region. The bank plays a central role in developing inclusive and sustainable growth, good governance, and many outcomes in the region. Minister Sajjan really wanted to be here in person, so I am sending his regrets. I promise you, he told me, Cheryl, get me there. Unfortunately, scheduling didn't allow it. But we have a video recording for you that the minister pre-recorded, and we will play that for you now. Thank you.
Distinguished Governor, President of the Caribbean Development Bank, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to accept the role of Chair of the Board of Governors of the Caribbean Development Bank on behalf of the Government of Canada. I would like to thank the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, for his tremendous work over the past year as our outgoing chair. Prime Minister, thank you for your steady leadership and for your hospitality in hosting this year's annual meeting. I wish that I could be there with all of you this week, but short of that, it is a pleasure to be able to share this message with all of you virtually. Earlier this year, I had the opportunity to travel to the Caribbean with a trip to visit regional partners and development projects in Barbados and Jamaica. Throughout my visit, I was impressed by the energy and efforts going into strengthening disaster response systems and building sustainable, climate-smart agricultural programs. It was wonderful to have the opportunity to meet with people working on development projects that are strengthening health systems, gender equality, and food security. In Barbados, I also had the chance to meet with Dr. Leon, and we spoke at length about the CDB's efforts to respond to climate change and strengthen economic resilience. It is clear to both of us that we need to continue partnering with governments and local organizations in the Caribbean to gain renewed momentum for the Sustainable Development Goals. As I take on the role of CDB Chair for the year ahead, I look forward to working with all of you under the theme Sharing to Grow. This theme places partnerships and inclusion at the center of our shared work, including our commitment under the 2030 Agenda. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau serves as the co-chair of the United Nations Secretary General's SDG Advocate Group alongside Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados. They are working together to spotlight SDG successes from around the globe, and they are calling on all of us to step up our ambition to meet the SDG targets. Canada also works in close partnerships with CARICOM on climate resilience, economic growth, and responsive governance. Throughout our work, we are promoting equitable, open, and inclusive societies. We want to see truly equal partnerships politically, economically, and culturally. We know that too often marginalized groups don't get a seat at the decision-making tables. The exclusion of women, youth, members of the LGBTQIS community, Indigenous peoples, and others holds all of us back. And so, as CDB Chair, partnership and inclusion are principles that I will continue to champion. Much of our work together will also be centered on economic resilience and climate finance. Canada recognizes that small island developing states are very vulnerable to economic and climate-related shocks. The SIDS are also particularly at risk of biodiversity loss that, quite frankly, the world cannot afford. Tangible action is needed to address these unique vulnerabilities. That is why I am a champion for small island states, to gain increased access to financing, capacity building, knowledge sharing, and engagement opportunities. At COP27, we welcomed the historic decision to establish new funding arrangements and a fund for loss and damage, a decision that will impact many SIDS. We are now working on the Transitional Committee to move this decision forward to better support vulnerable countries and communities. This is a good start, but we know more leadership is needed. And in my role as champion of the UN Commonwealth Joint Advocacy Strategy for Small States, I am working with CARICOM member states to keep amplifying SIDS priorities and to find solutions that work. This work will be ever more critical leading up to the 4th International Conference on SIDS, to be graciously hosted by Antigua and Barbuda in 2024. Prime Minister Trudeau is also engaged on this issue and has worked with Prime Minister Holness of Jamaica as co-chairs of the Financing for Development in the Era of COVID-19 and Beyond initiative. And Canada is proud to represent Caribbean countries as part of our constituency at the World Bank and IMF. In the coming days, the international community will gather in Paris for the Summit for a New Global Financing Pact. This summit will bring together agendas on climate, development, and debt, because as we know, these issues are all intrinsically linked. Over the coming months, there will be further discussions on these themes at the G20, the United Nations, the World Bank Group, and COP28. We also expect the Multidimensional Vulnerability Index to be released in the coming weeks. We can see the momentum building towards making the international financial architecture more fit for purpose. This will be the context of our agenda as CDB governors for the coming year. It's an exciting time, and we have much work to do together. As some of you know, the idea of a regional development bank for the Caribbean actually started at the Commonwealth Caribbean Conference that was held in Canada back in 1966. So next year, it will be my pleasure to bring you full circle and welcome you back to Canada for our next annual meeting. Until then, I thank you for welcoming me as your next chair, and I look forward to working with all of you.
The bank expresses its thanks to the incoming chair, and I would now like to invite the existing chair and the incoming chair down to the floor for our formal handover.
Thank you very much. And I now declare, not yet. Not yet.
Yes, before we close the meeting, we would like to invite the Governor for Antigua and Barbuda to read the resolution of appreciation. Thank you.
Governor from Antigua and Barbuda.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair, President Leon, governors, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by saying that unfortunately, Prime Minister Brown could not make it to the meeting this year, but on his behalf, I extend heartfelt congratulations to the government and people of St. Lucia, President and staff of the bank, on a well-executed 53rd annual governors meeting and for the successful execution of all the events. And it is my pleasure to present the resolution of appreciation. The Board of Governors resolves to express its gratitude and appreciation to the chairperson, the Governor for St. Lucia, for hosting the 53rd 2023 annual meeting, which was held in St. Lucia during the period June 19th to 21st, 2023. Thank you.
I guess it's the time now, right? I now declare the 54th annual general meeting of the CDB officially closed. Thank you very much.